speaking of guys who are really good at golf, we have some good ones and a stacked field for the Genesis Invitational. So first things first, if you're looking on betting on the PGA this week, some things you should know. The Genesis Invitational is usually in the Palisades because of the fires in LA. It's been moved to Torrey Pines, so keep that in mind when you're betting on this tournament. So if we're looking at the favorites over at BetMGM, to win, Scotty Scheffler is your favorite. No shocker there. 4-1. Rory McIlroy 7-1. Colin Morikawa 14-1. Justin Thomas 18-1. And so on and so forth. So, Jenks, first glance, looking at this tournament, what stood out to you?
I honestly, when I'm looking at this, I was trying to pick, I don't know. I'm not the best golf handicapper, but I think the play that I like the most is Tony Finau top 10 finish, which is plus 275. So he finished really hot at Pebble Beach. He had 3 rounds in the 60s, 1 round that was a third round 74. But outside of that, he played really well. He was in a tie for 13th. And when you look at his history at Torrey Pines, not necessarily at this event, but at this course, he's been very, very good. Since 2016, a total of 6 top 10 finishes. So if you like him to win outright, those are difficult bets to win. He's 45-1. But Tony Finau to finish in the top 10, it's plus 275.
Yeah, I think, am I muted? No, I'm not. Okay, because I was coughing. Just making sure that I wasn't muted. I think when you look at this course, you definitely want to go with guys who are good at iron play and guys who are pretty long off the tee. Because we know the South Course at Torrey Pines, which is where they're going to be playing this, is pretty challenging. And it's really long. So you're looking for those guys who are good at iron play. So when I think of iron play, I always think of Colin Morikawa. Would not shock me if he's the guy that wins this weekend. And of course, he's had some success here. Solo third here in 2023 and a T4 back at the U.S. Open. So I think that's the one that seems, I'm not going to say obvious to me, but somebody who I'm not going to be shocked at all. And that's the reason why he's one of the favorites. I think maybe the way to play that is there is a 3-ball tournament matchup where you can get some big plus money, plus 285 for Colin Morikawa going against the big dogs. Scotty Scheffler, I think, is the favorite in that 3-ball group, and Rory McIlroy. Like, I'm not a huge fan of fading Rory right now because we know he's coming off a win. What was it? At the Pro-Am over at Pebble Beach. He's playing some of the best golf he's ever played. But I think the other thing is Scotty Scheffler has looked a bit human as of late, coming off that hand injury, that freak accident where he was like rolling ravioli or something. But the last round he played, he hit some balls into the water. So I'm not saying that Scotty Scheffler can't win this tournament. I'm just saying if you're going to play him at this short of a price, you need to be damn sure. And I feel like, you know, he hasn't been completely on his game lately. So I feel like this is not the week to take Scotty Scheffler. And I feel like hesitant even saying that because, again, Scotty Scheffler can go off at any moment.
That's true. So I was playing around with this yesterday because I'm like you. He's still recovering, still hasn't quite looked like himself. And here's the thing, too. We also have to, I think, at least respect the fact that Scotty Scheffler was so unbelievable last year. Like, meeting that expectation again is not realistic. It's not fair to him. Like, he set his own bar. But at the same time, it's still Scotty Scheffler. I don't know if this is the right play or not. I mean, we're just throwing things out there. But I feel like Roy is playing fantastic golf right now. We saw that at Pebble Beach. So him being in the top 10, I feel like is a no-brainer. I'm actually more worried about Scotty Scheffler than Roy, just based on what we've seen thus far. But if you parlay those two guys together to both finish in the top 10, you can get it to plus 104. So I don't necessarily know if that's a play that's enticing, but at least it's a little plus money if you believe both of those guys, who are two of the best in the world, will go out and be competitive and maybe, be right up there near the top.
Am I going to be shocked if this hits? Absolutely not. I think parlaying top 20s, Jake does this, my husband, and I think sometimes it can be difficult because then it's like, it's a zero-sum game. I think I'm using this correctly to where, then there's only 19 spots left for your other guy, and you need both of them to finish in there. Sometimes it can be harder than it looks. Some top 20 bets, because, Jenks, I'm a top 20 gal. Usually my strategy in golf is to look for some plus money plays in the top 20. I'm kind of conservative that way. Taylor Pendrith, somebody who I was on, I think a couple weeks ago, a young Canadian who's been lighting things up on the PGA Tour. You can get him at plus 110 to finish in the top 20. He's a good ball striker and 4 for 4 in his last 4 with 2 top 10s, 4 for 4 making the cut, I should say. So 2 top 10s in that last stretch. And I feel like he's one of those guys that's just enough under the radar where you can still get some good prices on him. Like I remember back before Will Zalatoris went on his stretch, he was one of those guys that I feel like was, excuse me, a little under the radar. And then how about this for some plus money? So Harris English just won here 3 weeks ago. So I feel like it almost feels obvious that like he should play this course pretty well. He played in some tough elements, and again, he won it. He's plus 180 to finish in the top 20. So Jenks, I got to pass it off to you. Feels like my voice is going out. My boy Harris, I like him in the top 20.
All right. Well, you know what? You're someone who has always been very good at handicapping golf, mainly because you watch so much golf. Like Chelsea is always watching golf because her husband Jake loves golf. I think Jake has an addiction personally to the Golf Channel, but that's just me. I will give one more play that I like if we're talking about maybe an outright winner, which I think is Colin Morikawa. I think has a chance to win this thing. So 14-1. What do you think about this? Based on the course itself, when you look at Torrey Pines, you're talking about a course that can eat you up pretty well if you're not accurate because they have those really thin fairways. But last year, Colin Morikawa was 7th on tour in accuracy, so he knows how to find those small spots in the fairways. He knows how to get out of trouble, and you really have to scramble a whole lot at Torrey Pines because you can get into trouble quickly. So coming off a solid performance at Pebble Beach, finished tied for 17th. I think there's value here. This course fits his profile. And with the BetMGM odds boost, according to Double D, you can get Colin at 21-1 to win it all. Again, outright bets in tournaments, outright winners, very hard to hit. But for a guy who I think matches up well with how this course generally plays, I like the value there, in particular with the boost.
Yeah, like I said, this was my first impression rose for Colin Morikawa, the one that just makes too much sense. We talk about good iron play. Get this. Here are the stats on him if you don't believe me. Leading the PGA Tour in fairways hit, greens in regulation, and strokes gained tee to green. So you see it with the eye test. Like if you watch him play, you know he's a good irons player, but also some stats to back it up if you don't believe me. So yes, we watch a lot of golf at our house. I feel like every Tuesday or Wednesday, Jake sets these DFS lineups because that's how he plays. He doesn't, well, he bets on golf too, but he builds these teams. So we do our research as a family. And the family who plays golf bets together, they stay together. That's my 2 cents there.